I was sitting at my kitchen table, halfway through a lukewarm cup of coffee, when my financial planner called and said the words no investor ever wants to hear. Mark, I found something deeply disturbing in your accounts. My name's Mark. I'm 50 years old, and I've always been the calm, level-headed type. I don't panic easily. I've lived through layoffs, a divorce, a recession, and a basement flood that nearly took years off my life. But hearing that sentence, yeah, that one hit different. Before I tell you what she found, and how it nearly destroyed everything I spent a lifetime building, make sure to subscribe. Because what happened next shocked even me, and I'm not easy to shock. I've lived in Calgary my whole life. I work as an industrial safety inspector, which basically means I walk around job sites making sure no one's about to blow themselves up. The job pays well, but it's stressful, and after my divorce 5 years ago, I started focusing hard on my finances. My one rule was simple: secure my retirement early. So I hired a financial planner, Sarah, brilliant woman. Sharp eyes, sharper brain, and the type who could spot a financial scam from 10 miles away. She managed my investments, taxes, pension contributions, the whole 9 yards. Everything had been perfect, smooth, predictable, reliable, until 3 nights ago, when my phone rang while I was chopping onions for dinner. Sarah never calls after hours, never. So when her name flashed on my screen at 7:52 p.m., I wiped my hands on a towel and answered immediately. "Hey Sarah, what's up?" I joked. "Calling to tell me I'm secretly a millionaire." There was silence. Then, a shaky breath. "Mark, this isn't a joke." My heart dropped. "What's going on?" I asked, sitting down slowly. "I was reviewing your quarterly statements," she said. "And there are transactions you didn't authorize." That made me sit up straight. "What kind of transactions?" She hesitated. "Large ones. Spread out, hidden through multiple sub-accounts." My mouth went dry. "How large?" "Mark, hundreds of thousands." I felt the room tilt. Hundreds of thousands. That was more than half of my retirement portfolio. That money wasn't just savings, it was 25 years of work. My future. My plan to finally relax at 60, instead of dropping dead on a job site. "I didn't move any money," I said, voice tight. "You know that." "I know," she said quickly, which is why I dug deeper. Sarah wasn't the panic type, but I could hear something in her voice: fear, anger, both. "What did you find?" "Not over the phone," she said firmly. "Come to my office tomorrow morning, first thing. And Mark, don't log into your accounts tonight." That sent a chill down my spine. "Why not?" "Because whoever's doing this may still have access. If they see you checking, they might cover their tracks." Cover their tracks. Which meant someone was actively stealing from me. Someone with access. Someone who knew enough to move money quietly, slowly, under the radar. Someone close. A cold thought hit me. "My computer," I whispered. "Did someone hack it?" "Maybe," she said. "Or maybe someone used your information." She didn't say the word, but I heard it anyway. Identity theft. I tried to sleep that night, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw numbers draining from my accounts, disappearing into someone else's hands. At 3 a.m., I finally got out of bed and made tea, staring at the quiet street outside my window. Everything looked normal, peaceful, but my gut screamed that something was very, very wrong. And the strangest part, 2 weeks earlier, I'd noticed something weird. My online banking had logged me out in the middle of a session. Another time, my password didn't work on the first try. And once, my computer made this strange clicking sound, like someone was controlling it remotely. I brushed it off as tech glitches. Turns out, that was mistake number 1. The next morning, I was at Sarah's office at 7:55 a.m. She buzzed me in immediately, locked the door behind me, and closed the blinds. Not normal behavior. She handed me a stack of printed statements, dozens of pages, highlighted in red. "Here," she said. "These started 3 months ago." I scanned the documents, my stomach twisting. Small withdrawals at first. $1,200, $2,600, $900. Barely noticeable. Then the numbers grew. $14,000, $22,500, $31,800. Then the final page. $110,000 withdrawn in a single day. My blood ran cold. "Sarah, who did this?" She took a breath and slid another document across the table. "I think it's someone who knows you." I frowned. "What? Who?" She pointed at the signature on the withdrawal form. A signature that looked just like mine. Too much like mine. "This isn't real," I said. "I didn't sign anything." "I know," she said. which is why I checked the authorization logs. She turned another page, showed me the access history, showed me the login device, and my breath caught in my throat when I read it. Because the device used to steal my money was one I recognized. It belonged to someone in my own home. And suddenly, everything made sense. I stared at the device ID on the page like it was written in another language. My brain absolutely refused to connect the dots. But Sarah's expression told me everything. She wasn't guessing. She wasn't speculating. She was certain. "Mark," she said softly, "this device accessed your portfolio 12 times in the last 3 months." I swallowed. That can't be right." "It's right," she said. "The timestamps match every suspicious withdrawal." I felt myself sinking into the chair. My laptop was old, my phone outdated, but that wasn't what was listed. The device in question was a newer model, one I didn't own. But I had seen it. Every day, actually, at home. On my kitchen counter, in my living room, next to the person I shared my life with for the past 3 years. My girlfriend Laura. She didn't live with me full-time, but she stayed over at least half the week. She brought her work laptop everywhere, sleek, silver, newer than anything I owned. The kind of device expensive marketing jobs issued to their employees. And my stomach dropped so hard it felt like I lost gravity. "But why would she?" I whispered. Sarah hesitated. "Mark, has anyone else had physical access to your financial documents, your email, your devices?" "No," I said automatically. "No one touches my..." Then I stopped. Because I remembered something. 2 months ago, I'd caught Laura sitting at my desk. She said she was looking for a stamp. Another time, she asked for my Wi-Fi password, and I watched her type it into her laptop. But her screen was tilted away from me. And 3 weeks before that, she'd helped me reset my phone after a system update. She said mine was too confusing, and insisted she'd handle it. Little things. Forgettable things. At the time, but now, they were glowing neon signs. Sarah's voice broke through my thoughts. "Mark, do you trust her?" The answer should have been yes. Yes, of course. I loved her. I let her into my home, my life. She met my friends. She spent Christmas with my family. She held me during the worst nights and laughed with me during the best ones. But now my throat tightened. "I don't know," I whispered. "I really don't know." Sarah sighed and slid another document toward me. "There's more." She pulled up a printed email. It was an automated message from one of my investment accounts. An update confirming a beneficiary change. I froze. "What is this?" "Someone changed your beneficiary 3 months ago," she said. "It wasn't you." I felt the room spin. My beneficiary had always been my daughter, Lily. She was 23, in university. My pride and joy. I wanted her protected. I wanted her future secured, especially after her mother, my ex-wife, had passed away last year. I flipped the document over, heart pounding. The new beneficiary name. Laura Hayden, my girlfriend. I stared at it, numb. "No," I said. "No, this has to be a mistake." "It's not," Sarah said. Her voice was gentle, but firm. "Mark, she forged the form." "At my desk," I whispered. "She must have done it at my desk." Sarah nodded. "I think she had access to more than you realized." I pushed back from the table, feeling sick. "She changed my beneficiary. She stole my money. And she pretended to love me." "We need to escalate this," Sarah said. "I have the docs ready for fraud investigation. But you have a decision to make. We can contact the authorities right now. Authorities, police, investigators, charges against the woman who'd kissed me goodbye that morning and told me she loved me." My chest tightened painfully. I need a minute." Sarah gave me space. She knew better than to push. I walked to the window of her office. Outside, downtown Calgary was waking up, cars honking, people rushing to work, life moving on like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, my entire world had just cracked in half. Flashbacks hit me one after another. Laura smiling at me across the dinner table. Laura asking about my retirement plans, just out of curiosity. Laura insisting on helping me organize my files. Laura urging me to leave my laptop unlocked, since we share everything now. God, how did I miss it? The betrayal wasn't just financial. It was personal. It was targeted, calculated. She didn't just steal my savings. She rewrote my future on paper. I turned back to Sarah. "What do we do next?" She slid a folder toward Mythic, full of forms, statements, evidence. "We protect what's left," she said. "And then we go after what's gone." I nodded slowly. But a heavy thought nagged at the back of my mind. If Laura had stolen hundreds of thousands already, why hadn't she disappeared? Why was she still acting normal? Cooking dinner, kissing me goodnight, telling me she loved me. Unless my breath caught. Unless she wasn't done yet. Unless she still needed something from me. I grabbed my coat. "Where are you going?" Sarah asked. "I need to get home," I said. "I need to see exactly what she's been doing." When I wasn't looking. But even as I said it, a chill ran down my spine. Because for the first time in 3 years, I was scared to walk through my own front door. Driving home felt like trying to breathe underwater. My financial planner, Sarah, had shown me the device ID used to access my accounts, and it belonged to someone I knew. Someone close. Someone with full access to my home. My girlfriend, Laura. I didn't want to believe it. 3 years together, holidays, shared routines. None of it looked like a woman stealing my future. But the pieces lined up a little too perfectly, and that terrified me more than anything. When I pulled into my driveway, I froze. Her car was already there. She shouldn't have been home this early. She usually worked until evening. But she walked out the front door with a bright smile like nothing was wrong. "Hey babe, home already?" Her voice was cheerful. Too cheerful. Like she'd rehearsed it. I played along. "Yes, slow day. You okay? You look tired. Didn't sleep well," I said. "Gonna check something in my office." Her smile flickered. Barely noticeable. But I saw it. "Oh sure. Go ahead." That hesitation. It told me everything. I went straight to my office and closed the door. My laptop was already logged in something I never left it doing. And the folder where I kept printed financial documents. Gone. I opened my email. The login activity nearly stopped my heart. 3 failed login attempts. 2 successful logins. 1 password reset attempt. All from the same device ID Sarah showed me. All from within the last hour. I swallowed hard and pulled up the indoor security camera feed I'd installed years ago. I scrubbed back to that morning. There she was. Laura, in my office at 8:46 a.m., walking directly to my financial drawer, pulling out the folder, photographing every page, then slipping the entire folder into her bag. Not searching. Not hesitating. She knew exactly where everything was. Then came the worst part. She plugged a small USB device into my laptop. A keylogger recording everything I typed. It hit me like a punch. She hadn't just stolen documents. She was tracking my passwords. Trying to access everything I hadn't shown her yet. This wasn't a panicked theft. This wasn't impulsive. This was months of preparation. And suddenly, the beneficiary change Sarah found made perfect sense. Laura hadn't just changed paperwork. She wasn't after one account. She wasn't taking small amounts to test the waters. She was building a full identity takeover. And that meant only one thing. She wasn't planning to run. She was planning to replace me. Every hair on my neck stood up. I replayed the footage again, noticing something I missed the first time. After installing the keylogger, Laura texted someone, nodded, then wiped her fingerprints off my desk. Wiped them. Not normal. Not even close. I backed away from the computer, pulse pounding. The woman I thought I loved hadn't just stolen from me. She hadn't just betrayed me. She had studied me, watched me, learned my routines, gathered everything she needed. Patient, quiet, controlled. And now she was in the next room, acting like nothing happened, waiting for something for me. I took a shaky breath. She wasn't done yet, not even close. And I was starting to realize, this wasn't just financial fraud. Something darker was unfolding. And I was trapped inside the same house with it. Walking out of my office after watching the security footage should have felt like relief. Instead, it felt like stepping onto thin ice. Every instinct in my body screamed that I was in danger, but I had to play it cool. Laura was waiting for me in the hallway, right outside the office door. Like she knew exactly when I'd finish. "Oh," she said with that bright, practiced smile. "Done already?" I forced myself to smile back. "Yeah, just checking a work thing." She took one small step closer. "Are you sure you're okay? You seem tense." Tense. I felt like my heart was trying to break through my ribcage, but I couldn't let her see that. "Just hungry," I lied. "Thought I'd grab something to eat." "You want me to make something?" she asked. Normally that would have sounded sweet. But after seeing footage of her stealing documents, plugging a keylogger into my computer, and finishing it off by wiping her fingerprints from my desk. "No way. I'm craving something greasy," I said. "I'll go pick something up." Her smile faltered. A tiny crack, but I saw it. She didn't want me leaving the house. Or she didn't want me leaving with what I now knew. "Oh, you want to go now?" she asked carefully. I have a call soon. Another lie. She was stalling. Yeah, I said casually. Won't be long. She didn't move. She just stared at me for a moment, studying me. Was I nervous? Did I know? Had I figured it out? Then she suddenly stepped forward and hugged me. Her arms wrapped around me slowly, almost tenderly. But the hug wasn't warm, it was calculating. I could feel her assessing my breathing, my posture, my heartbeat. When she pulled back, her face softened. You sure you're all right? Never in my life had a simple question felt like a trap. Fine, I said. I'll be back soon. I walked out the front door. She stood in the doorway, watching me leave, expression unreadable. The second the door closed and I heard the lock click, I exhaled hard. My legs felt weak, but adrenaline pushed me forward. I didn't drive to get food. I drove straight to my buddy Tom's house. When he opened the door and saw my face, he didn't even ask, just pulled me inside. Mark, what happened? Tom, I said, voice shaking. I think Laura's been stealing from me. For months, maybe longer. He blinked. Stealing what? Money, everything, I whispered. My accounts, my identity. She changed my beneficiary. Installed a keylogger. Took my documents. Tom's face went pale. Jesus, did you call the cops? Not yet, I said. I need proof, real proof, and I need to secure what's left. I opened my laptop to log in. My password didn't work. I tried again. Denied. Backup login. Denied. Final recovery option. Locked out. Tom stared at me. Mark, she's doing it right now. My heart dropped. I opened my last hope, the hidden camera feed she didn't know existed. The image loaded, and there she was. In my office, at my computer.com, focused, finishing what she started. And I realized, she wasn't just stealing from me. She was erasing me. Tom stood behind me as the hidden camera feed sharpened. The image hit me like a punch to the chest. Laura was sitting at my desk, my documents spread out beside her. My computer logged in under her control. Her face was calm to calm. No panic, no nerves. She was in full command of the situation. Like this was just another Tuesday morning task. What is she doing? Tom whispered. I zoomed in. She wasn't just opening files. She was deleting them. Emails, statements, account recovery forms, security questions. One after another, she wiped evidence that the accounts ever belonged to me. Oh my God, I muttered. She's erasing the trail. Tom leaned over my shoulder. She knows you left the house. She thinks she's clear. My gut twisted. She wasn't acting rushed. She wasn't worried. Instead, she paused to check her phone, nodded, then continued calmly like she'd rehearsed this exact sequence 100 times. Then she plugged something into my laptop. I leaned in closer. It was the same device I saw on the earlier footage. The keylogger. She was updating it. That's when my blood ran cold. Tom, I whispered. She didn't just want access to my accounts. She wanted control of everything I do online. Emails, banking, retirement, all of it. Tom swore under his breath. She's dangerous, Mark. This isn't desperation. This is planned. As the camera zoomed out, I noticed something subtle but terrifying. My gun safe. It was in the far corner of the office, old, heavy, but locked securely. Except, the door was slightly ajar. A few millimeters. Barely noticeable. My lungs tightened. Tom. She opened my safe. She could have a weapon, he said. Mark, this is escalating. You need to call the police. Right now. My hand hovered over my phone. And then Laura reached for something on my desk. A folder. She opened it, scanned the papers, and smiled. A slow, satisfied smile that made my skin crawl. She picked up her phone and dialed someone. I turned the volume up. It's all here, she said softly. He really didn't notice anything. I'm finishing the wipe now. Tom's face hardened. Who's she talking to? I shook my head. She continued. I'll send the transfer once the account resets. No, he won't question it. He's emotional, easy to manipulate. A pause. A faint laugh. Honestly, I thought a 50-year-old man would be smarter. My jaw clenched. There it was. The truth behind every smile, every hug, every I love you. She never loved me. She loved the access. And after tonight, she whispered, I'm gone. My chest tightened. She's planning to flee. Tom grabbed my arm. Mark, call 911 now. And for once, I didn't hesitate. I dialed. 911. What's your emergency? My name is Mark. I'm reporting active financial fraud, identity theft, and an immediate threat at my home. I have live video of the suspect right now. Is the suspect alone? Yes, stay where you are. Officers are en route 10 minutes. That's how long it took. 10 painfully slow minutes, where Laura continued wiping my accounts, humming softly like she was baking cookies instead of destroying my life. Then the camera caught movement officers entering the house. Laura stood up, startled. She tried to mask her panic, plastering on a fake, confused expression. "What's going on?" she asked them. But the officer held up a photo, my evidence screenshot. Her face changed instantly. No more acting, no more sweetness. Just cold, sharp rage. They cuffed her. She didn't fight. She didn't cry. She didn't say a word. They led her out of my house while I watched from miles away. Tom let out a breath. It's over. But I shook my head. No, it's beginning, because now I had months of cleanup, paperwork, legal battles, and rebuilding to do. But at least I was alive to do it. Later, an officer told me, "You're lucky. Another day, and she would have taken everything." I nodded. I know. Because being 50 doesn't make you slow or naive. It makes you experienced enough to see the truth, even when it's sitting at your kitchen table smiling at you.